I want to do a mood reading vlog this week, which I have not done a mood reading vlog in what feels like forever, which is so insane because I am such a strong mood reader, so the fact that I don't do more of these is a little crazy. But welcome to this week's video. I'm currently reading Cheese Sweet Home right now. It is the last day of March 31st. So I'm gonna finish this within probably the next 40 minutes or so. This is a graphic novel, so I'm gonna get through it really fast. And then after that, I do want to talk about some of my March reads before we get into what I'm gonna be reading this week, just because I have some books that I read that aren't in videos, and I don't plan to do a wrap-up video talking about the books that I read in March, just because a lot of them were in my Bookish Bingo episodes. So that is the plan right now. I will see you guys when I am done with Cheese Sweet Home. Okay, we're gonna talk about my March reads after Bookish Bingo. I'm freezing, I swear. When I move out, my bill's about to be so high because I'm such a cold person. I hate it. I thought I only had to talk about 2 besides cheese. I forgot I read a book, so I have 3 that I'm gonna talk about. The first one is The Cabinet of Dr. Lang. I didn't end up rating this book after I finished it just because I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't really like it, and honestly I kind of forgot I already read it, which is really bad. I've never forgotten about a book that fast in my entire life. It wasn't terrible, but I just didn't connect with the story at all. I thought it was gonna be a mystery novel, but it didn't really feel that way. So it's this sort of situation where we have our main character and a whole bunch of other characters, but it's switching back and forth between timelines. We were getting, I don't know, I think it was like 1800s or something, and then the present day. There was this doctor, Dr. Lang, who would take girls' like spinal cords out or something, and he would use them to try to prolong the life of people. Like he was trying to make this, I don't want to say potion, but he was trying to make this concoction to have people take it and then their lives, like they could live longer. Really interesting, really weird. But basically he was murdering these women and using them to get what he wanted. So it was definitely a weird situation. If you look this up on Goodreads, it's part of the Pendergast novels or the Pendergast world. Pendergast is a character in here. You don't get too much on him. This book technically can be read as a standalone, which is what I did because I've never read another book in this universe, but I don't think it should have been because there was a lot of characters and there were a lot of moments where I just felt like I needed to know more about the story or what was going on. And I definitely could have gotten that with previous books. But there are so many. I think this is book number 21. So I don't know how many, like this is a standalone, but there's a whole universe of connections with characters. But basically our main character Constance, she's like traveling back and forth between these time periods to try to save her sister and her brother from what Dr. Lang did to them. But the whole story wasn't focused on that. We were focused on so many more characters, and that's where it got confusing to me, and I just didn't really care because we were getting so many different storylines and plot lines, and that's when I felt like I needed to read previous books to understand that. But then I don't know if those were in previous books or those characters were in previous books. I don't know. I just didn't vibe with this one, and I wasn't expecting to. I got this book at a vendor show that I had. The booth next to me, she sold book boxes with items in them, and then the items like correlate to the book and the plot itself. So I just wanted to buy a book from her because I thought it would be fun. And then I read This Dark Descent, which is my Owl Crate version. This was the very first Owl Crate book that I got when I subscribed to them, and it's been almost 2 years now. So I've had this on my TBR for a long time, but it was on my March TBR and I finally got to it. I enjoyed this one a lot. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. This is a young adult fantasy about a horse race that happens all the time. The people that are racing in this are obviously like trying to win, but they are racing on enchanted horses, which basically means that these horses are faster, they have a higher endurance, stamina, agility, whatever. Our main character, her family breeds enchanted horses, so they're doing well. They have their own thing going on and their reputation and whatnot. And then this person in power that is not necessarily a good person comes and makes a deal with our main character Makira and is threatening to take her father away or do bad things to her father. He says that if Makira enters this race and wins without riding an enchanted horse, then her father will end up being okay. He'll release him and then they will get their whole like family farm back and their reputation. Makira obviously is going to try to save her father, so she enters this race without an enchanted horse, and this is told in dual POV, which normally in a dual POV you get the main character and then a love interest. In this one, there's definitely hints of romance. It's not touched on too much, but it's still in the background. It's still there. You know that something is going to happen eventually. So when another point of view came up, I thought that we were going to get the love interest, and that's not what happened actually. It was actually very interesting because we got another main character. Her name is Ariel. I'm not going to talk too much about her though, or what her importance to the story is, because I don't like to give away too much when I talk about books, just because it's fun, even like the small details that aren't necessarily spoilers. I like reading books and finding those out along the way and not knowing that it's going to happen, so I'm not gonna give that away. But Ariel does play a very huge role in this book, and sometimes I did feel like she was more of a main character than Makira, which it could have been. They were dual main characters, so I think we definitely got more on Ariel, and I'm not complaining because I really liked her story and what could happen to her and what she was going through and what she is. This has a lot of things that keep popping up. This author threw a lot in here that definitely needed to be touched on a lot more. There's a lot going on with the world, people in power, two different sides feuding, a lot with the horses themselves, and I think it's something that needs to be more than just a duology, because when you have a book when there's so many things coming up that seem very important and you don't get a lot on them, I don't feel as connected to the story. Despite all of that, I did still really enjoy this. I had a fun time reading it. It was very interesting. I like the plot and I like the characters, and I'm curious to see where the romance goes, if we even get a romance. So while I don't think it focused on things that it needed to focus on, I still very much enjoyed my time reading this, so I am giving it a 4 stars. I will continue this duology. I feel like this book is going to be very subjective. Like, you're either gonna like it and enjoy it and have a good time, or you're just gonna think it's completely pointless. I recommend it, but I will say that it's probably not for everybody. And then I unfortunately had my first DNF of the year. This is The Petrified Flesh by Cornelia Funk. This is the first book in the Reckless series. I don't feel like I vibed with the author's writing as much as I should have. It felt kind of choppy. It's just not a writing style that I enjoyed. It's a book that I expected to like, even though it is a fairy tale fantasy, and I don't really like fairy tale stuff. Our main character is Jacob, and he has this mirror. I think his father like went missing in the mirror world, so Jacob's curious about the mirror world and he goes in there and sees what it's all about. But then Jacob has a brother named Will, and Will ends up in this mirror world as well, but he gets cursed, so now he has like these jade stones in him, and if they don't fix this curse, he's gonna turn to stone. So this whole story, they're trying to fix Will and break this curse for him. I feel like we jumped right into the story and I didn't feel a connection to any character at all. So all these things that were happening to these characters, I just didn't really care. But I also felt like the chapters didn't flow together. I didn't feel like I was really reading one plot line that built upon itself. At the end of every chapter, I finished it and I didn't care to move on because I just didn't feel like I was reading something that kept going. I got bored with it fast. I only got 90 some pages into this. Around the 50 page mark, I already knew that I wasn't going to like this book. So I'm not going to continue this, which I'm really sad about because I thought I would like it despite not liking fairy tale fantasies. And then obviously I just finished Cheese Sweet Home. So these are going to be my last reads for March that I haven't already talked about in a video before. This one is just absolutely adorable. This series is so wholesome so far. These are just graphic novels about a cat that ends up getting lost in the beginning, and then this family finds them and gives Chi a home. This one was really wholesome because we got introduced to a lot of other cats in this area where they live, and it's just so cute seeing what could possibly go on in a cat's head when things are happening. I feel like this is such a good depiction of what they could possibly be thinking. Okay, now to talk about the books that I plan on reading in this video. Obviously it's a mood reading vlog, so it could change. First, we're gonna have a Kindle read. I do want to focus on my April TBR, but we're already not doing that. I always go on Libby frequently and check if they are adding new books to my library, and they haven't in a while. But I just watched Heather's recent video and she was reading An Ember in the Ashes, and a lot of people have been raving about the series. I remember the series being talked about forever ago when it was first published, but I never read it and I still haven't read it. So when I was on Libby, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna see if they have An Ember in the Ashes, which I swear I've looked it up before and they didn't have it. It was on there. The whole entire series was on there. So I borrowed the first book because it didn't have a hold on it, surprisingly. I borrowed it because I didn't want there to end up being a hold and me having to wait, because I do want to read this book. It's gonna be the start of a series. I should not be doing this to myself. It's happening. It's happening. So we're gonna read An Ember in the Ashes. I honestly don't remember what this is about. I know that I've read the summary of this before because I've talked about it before. That's gone. That's out of my brain. So I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just gonna go into this and see how I'm feeling. And then I feel like we're probably gonna get through 3 books maybe. So the other 2, let me grab them. If you watch my April TBR or my March TBR, these are the ones that I rolled over from my March TBR into April. I have Her Radiant Curse and then Yellowface. Her Radiant Curse is a prequel to my favorite book in the entire world, or my favorite duology, which is Six Crimson Cranes. And this is about the stepmother that you meet in that book. So I'm very curious to see her storyline, and I just am ready to be back in this world because I love it so much. Like this, I'm not even joking, this duology, well, this series now has my whole entire heart. And then also Yellowface because I plan on catching up on R.F. Kuang's books. I've read Babel and the Poppy War trilogy, so I want to read this one. That way I only have her new book to read. I have that pre-ordered. I am ready for August, but I want to know how I feel about this one because it's a different genre than what she has written before and what I've read by her. So that is my goal. Those are my 3 books that I plan on reading in this video. See this right now because I have my glasses on, but there's such a glare that I had to just take them off for a second so it's not annoying. It's Tuesday now. So Abby Jimenez's bro. Anyway, her new book is out today in their hardcover. Why am I upset about that? That's all I wanted to say right now. But while I'm here, I might as well talk about An Ember in the Ashes because I started that yesterday and it's really good so far. I'm only about 16% of the way through. It started off pretty crazily. There's a lot of action in the beginning and I always love that when that happens in the book or a start of a series. I'm liking both of our characters. They have very interesting stories. We have Leia and Elias, I believe. They're kind of on like 2 opposite sides technically, but I think they still have like the same morals and the same values, but their world is not good. There's a lot of bad stuff going on and they do not treat people well at all. And I wasn't expecting that. It got very dark and disturbing pretty fast, but it's super entertaining. I didn't want to stop reading last night. I don't have too many reading updates right now because I didn't get through a lot. I think I'm on page like 70 or 80 something maybe. We're gonna start our workday and then I'm gonna read later because I am definitely curious to see where this book goes. I'm probably gonna finish it pretty soon, maybe. I kind of want to stay up and read all night tonight. We'll see how it goes. It is Wednesday now and it is very, very rainy today. It's storming. I literally just heard a 30-second long roll of thunder. I have my Kindle. I made it to 32% of the way through and I'm just gonna sit here for as long as I want to and continue this book. I'm loving it so far. There's so much happening, but it's done so well. Like, you're not being thrown a whole bunch of things at once. It's happening in a timely manner, so you're able to soak it all in. It's not overwhelming, and it doesn't seem like things aren't going to be touched on. I think it's going to be a very good book. There is somebody that I feel like could maybe be a love interest, which I don't like throwing romance into books if there's not a romance, but I just have a feeling. And also, I was trying to Google something with the commandant person who's in charge of like the Empire. There were things popping up and I was like, you know what, I'm probably gonna get spoiled. I'm not even gonna Google anything, but I am confused because the commandant is a woman, which people can be called whatever they want. But when people are replying to the commandant, they're saying sir, and it's confusing me. Like when that first came up, I was trying to Google if the commandant was a man, and then names were popping up and I didn't read anything because I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna get spoiled. That's happened to me before. So I'm gonna stay off of the internet while I read this book. But yeah, I'm loving it. I like our main characters. I love the dual POV. I think they're gonna connect eventually, which I love getting that dual POV and knowing that that's probably gonna happen. They both have very interesting stories. I think I already said that. There's spying in here. I feel like there's gonna be betrayal. There's secrets. It's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good and I'm very excited. Making biscuits. I'm making biscuits. I made it halfway through. I am about to make lunch, but I wanted to do a quick update before I do that and get back to reading because I forgot to say what I like most about this book, and it's our main character, Leia. There's a lot of fantasies you read. The main character is instantly super talented, they're strong, they're brave, and they jump right into being able to like take a whole bunch of people out and just fight a bunch of people, and they have a great power. But this is not the case with her. I like that because it's realistic. She definitely is going through a lot with her mindset and how weak she is mentally and physically, but she obviously has something going on in her life where she's trying to get through all of that, and she's working really hard to be brave, to come out on the other side and do what she needs to do. I'm happy that I am picking this book for mood reading because I just want to read as much as I possibly can. At this point, I might only get through 2 books in this video depending on how fast I finish this, but we'll see. Happy Thursday. I have lots to talk about. Ignore my hair. It's wet. I look like a wet rat. I'm so sorry. I finished An Ember in the Ashes last night and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I feel like it got a little boring. There was still a lot going on, but it didn't necessarily go anywhere. It seemed like we were reading a lot of the same thing, but it was still very, very interesting and entertaining, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm curious to see where the series goes. I don't think I have too much else to say about it. After that, I started Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, so we're sticking to my original goal of the books I want to read. I love mood reading. There's nothing better than mood reading. I love doing challenges. I love doing other reading vlogs that have specified books for me to read, but mood reading is just on top all the time. I only read a chapter of this morning when I was walking on the treadmill, so I'm only on page 22, but I'm already loving it. I know going into this that it's going to be a book that I'm going to hate our main character, Junie. So R. Kwong's books are highly rated. This one is her lowest rated book. It's like a 3.7 something, because a lot of people, I think they read this book and hate the main character for what she's doing, and then they end up not liking the book, which is completely understandable, but I am curious to see how much I hate this main character. And the way she's coming off in the first chapter, I don't know if we're meant to hate her yet. There's kind of two main characters. So we have June or Junie, and then we have Athena. They're friends. Athena's very successful. She's a writer. They're both writers, but June hasn't found her success yet. So Athena's actually getting a Netflix deal. She's made so much money with her novels, and June feels like she's just left in the dust with her writing and her job. June doesn't like Athena. She's the type of person that sees somebody close to her having success or anybody else having success in their life, and she judges them and she's jealous of them, and she can't root for them because she wants what they have. So she's very insecure with herself and where she's at in life with her work. I know the concept of this story is that Athena passes away, which I already read. That's in the first chapter, how she passed away, which is crazy. If I went out that way, I'd be pretty upset. June sees this manuscript on Athena's desk in her little writing room. June ends up stealing that manuscript and putting it under her name. Not only is June stealing her work, but the name she's putting it under is not her own name. She's pretending to be a different ethnicity. Athena is an Asian author, and June feels like Athena is getting that success because she's a diverse author. So yeah, that's the concept of the story. June's just gonna end up being a bad person. It's a book that I already want to binge. I started this and I want to sit down and read it, but I can't. I have some work to do, so I'm gonna put this off for now, even though I really am in the mood to read it, so I should read it, but work needs to be done. I plan to finish Yellowface within the next few hours, maybe. I'm halfway through on chapter 13, page 163. I was gonna say that this is getting juicy, which the whole thing is juicy, but we got to another part where I'm very curious to see if June gets her karma and people find out what actually happened. I'm hoping that that happens. As with some things, I feel like people do get away with bad things that they do. So I'm hoping she gets her karma. We got to a part where someone's onto her, but we don't really know if they're making it up. I'm trying to figure out who it might be. I have two people in mind, so we'll see if I'm right. I'm gonna try to finish this, and then I will come back when I'm done probably and let you guys know what my final rating is. I don't think I'm gonna read anything else today. I usually always read before I go to bed, so when I finish this, I'm obviously gonna pick out my next book after, but I don't know if I'll get to that tonight. That's up in the air for right now, but we'll finish this and see how I'm feeling. That girl has the audacity. That's all I have to say. I have finished. This was absolutely fantastic. I loved it so much. There wasn't a single moment where I was bored at all. I would definitely recommend this. It's a page turner. I wanted to binge the whole thing, and it definitely got kind of creepy towards the end because of what we were dealing with. There was a very serious situation going on, and besides the plot, there's just so much more to the story with today's world and people in the publishing industry and other industries where you can get that sort of spotlight with your art and what you're creating. It touches on that very well, I think. Obviously, I'm not experienced in any of that, but it was such a nice read from somebody who isn't, because I got that insight, and I know that this is how it most likely is in the real world. I think she did a great job of writing that main character who's very selfish and doesn't understand that what they are doing is bad. June is just trying to make these excuses and make people feel pity for her because of what she is experiencing, even though she caused this whole issue. She doesn't see anything wrong with what she did. It's very much an instance where she's gonna do whatever it takes to clear the air for her and have people on her side, even though she does not deserve that at all. There's definitely a very intriguing plot story. The characters, they all have their issues because they are human. Some of them have a lot more issues than other people. The way that this ended is crazy, but it makes sense, and it's very unfortunate that it makes sense. I would highly recommend this if you have not read it yet. I'm probably gonna give it like a 4.75 or 5 stars. I'm gonna rate it a 5 stars on Goodreads, but I think just because, I don't know, it's a 5-star read. It's not like one of those 5-star feeling reads, but it's definitely a 5-star for how it's written and the story and the messages it gives off. We're doing good in this reading vlog. We have a great read so far. I'm not going to pick my next read right now just because I don't know what I'm feeling. I am still interested in reading her Radiant Curse. I don't know if that's what I'm going to end up picking, but that is a very likely decision for me. I have decided that I'm going to read her Radiant Curse next. I keep looking at it and I know that this is what I want to read next. So we're going to get into this. It's not even that much later than when I last talked to the camera. I know I'm gonna pick this anyway, so I might as well say it now. This is set in the world of Six Crimson Cranes. I think all of Elizabeth Flynn's books, besides like she has Disney retellings, I believe, but other than those, I think they all take place in the same universe. And this one is the prequel to Six Crimson Cranes and The Dragon's Promise, and I love those books so much. They're 5-star reads for me. I'm hoping this one will also be a 5-star read, and I just cannot wait to be back in this world. I'll probably read a little bit tonight. I'm going into the weekend. It's gonna be very busy, so I don't know if I'm gonna finish this book by the end of this week, but I will come back when I'm done with it just so you guys can hear my final review on it and what I thought about it. I'll try to update along the way, but it might be hard for me, so don't be mad. Don't be mad if I don't have updates along the way. I'll let you know how it's going, and then I'll see you when I see it.